presenting on the 10th day of April 2019. In our top stories, big boost for Liberia's musical industry as President George Weah construct modern recording studio to improve quality music production. Liberia Agency for Community Empowerment list shows fire survivors of Popo Beach that it will complete the 50 housing units within 2 months. The Liberia Medicine and Health Products Regulatory Authority denies media report that it is running 3 separate payrolls. And on the home front, police in Somalia have ordered the only ambulance service in the capital Mogadishu to stop going to bomb blast scenes for security reasons. These stories plus more coming up on this edition of LNTV News Live. We're taking a break. When we come back, we'll continue with the stories. Welcome back to LNTV News Live. We now take our first story. President George Weah is said to be building a modern recording studio to assist Liberian artists in recording quality music. This move by the president is intended to put Liberian music on par with other African countries in terms of quality music production. Deputy Press Secretary Smith Toby made a disclosure in response to critics' comments that the president is constructing a radio station at the facility of the church.
The president's dream is to improve every sector of our country. The music industry here in our country, the musicians, the artists, they are challenged in leaving this country, going out there to get proper recording done. So what the president, who's also a musician, you know, the president, he's love music. He do his spare time. He sometimes, you know, do his freestyle just to ease some of the stress. So the president is moved by artists. Artists go to the president, come to the president, please send out to the studio, or please do this. So all of this cry here and there and this and that. The president have decided to build at that facility a model recording studio where artists, so that our music can even get up to par with other artists. The next thing is that after he's done with that project, he's going to bring in the experts, the technicians, so that Liberian artists will not be struggling looking for a place to go do music. If you ask for assistance, the president said go to the studio and go there and go do your music, and the technicians will be there, the engineers will be there. So somebody say, oh, the president got a private station, the and King's FM, which has been managed by the team. He's not involved with that management anymore, but he's trying to see how he can reach out to every sector. So that this country.
Mr. Smith said the president remains committed to fighting corruption against those who are his friends.
Anyone who is corrupt in his administration, one thing I know the president will not do is that he will not act on what he hear people call on the radio and just allege that you are corrupt. When you are proven to be corrupt and you are investigated and under the law that you are found guilty, the president will act on those individuals who the law will say they are corrupt. No disrespect to people who call on radio stations or who just sit and say, oh yeah, they're whistleblowers, and just say, oh, this man is corrupt, oh, this person is stealing government money, oh, the person is doing this and doing that. If there's a proof and there's an investigation that leads you to become culpable of the act, then the administration, if the president start to just take the saying from just everywhere and relating committing people to corruption, he's going to go out just arresting people. So I've gone to discussion with the president. I've heard the president talk to his lieutenants, and he's told him clearly that he's not going to renege protecting his friends. if they are out there as friends or they are team players, then they should work as a team.
Barely a day after, President George Manawia brought relief to some fire survivors in the Popo Beach community on the Bourgeois Island. Construction material have begun arriving at the project site for the immediate execution of the project. According to the Executive Director of the Liberia Agency for Community Empowerment, Kwewu Yeke, they will meet up with the 60-day period.
I sat with the President up to 11, almost 12 this morning, and then we're trying to work on some sketches of what the people need in the town, and then the 60 days timeline the President gave, I think we will meet that timeline, and he's actually serious about that. As I speak to you, the contractor has started carrying rocks, sand, and bricks already at Popo Beach, and then probably by tomorrow they're going to clear the debris that we already have on the site, and then the project is going to commence this week, and we'll see how we can finish it in the period of 60 days. You know, the President of recent, he's been visiting most of the projects, especially those roads kind of project. So we'll see how we can actually hit that timeline. President mandate yesterday was actually cleared, and we don't have much space that going to actually hold the entire 50 homes. And then what the President decided to do is that other homes that we have around there that don't look decent, we're going to actually demolish them and see how we can build new homes for the people in Liquid Town. So it's.
Meanwhile, on the issue of the Presidential Housing Unit project in Grand Crew County, Mr. Yeket added that about 109 homes have reached window level, bringing the percentage to about 35 to 40%.
We have just started in the second month, and we have a technical team. They are moving up to Grand Crew today, and then as I speak to you, we got more than 109 homes that are the roofing level. And then the people in the southeast are actually much excited about the project. We know there are some challenges. As I speak to you, we are already getting into the rainy season, so it's probably getting difficult to get some of the material out there. But we are coping up with challenges, and most of the contractors are already procured that material into the southeastern part of this country.
109 units, where are we in terms of, are they, you know, at what levels can you say the houses or the units are now?
Based upon my baseline and studies are taking, I think we are going probably almost around 35 to 40% of the project, and that I know will be on the timeline, and within the period of 4 months the project will be completed.
The Director of Liberia Agriculture Commodity Regulatory Authority, Dr. John Flomo, has named storage facilities, capacity building of farmers, and modern equipment as major instruments. The institution is said to be prioritizing for the growth process of the sector. Speaking in an ELBC interview Tuesday, Dr. Flomo said these 3 instruments are cardinal to enhance the effectiveness of activities in the sector.
One of the tangible project that we are working on right now, and we're looking at in the shortest possible time getting them up, is a storage facility. You can't do agriculture without storage. When people harvest their rice, they want to store them. So storage is one of the big things. And then we also looking at farming equipment. Cutlasses and hoes are good, but they don't feed us. They will not feed us if we continue to use farmers and cutlasses to farm in this country. We will not have enough food. So we are looking at also providing some equipment on to farmers, and then for us, our own farm to resuscitate some of those farms. Take for example, we're trying to buy power trailers and power tillers to move things around and then to help to till our farms. So equipments and warehouses are 2 of the tangible things that we have in our budget.
And how soon do we hope to see that go into fruition?
Well, we are already working on our warehouses. We just returned from Bond County, as I told you. We're in Lufa County, Vonyama last month, inspecting our facility. My deputy for operation was in Grand Cape Mount County. We have our warehouses in Kanta that we've been working. We have a team there right now. So we're already doing some of those things, but once the budget year comes into fruition next year, and by the grace of God, we get some money from government and our donor partners, we'll be doing the full bloom to develop, to renovate some
Dr. Flomo has outlined a plan by LAGRA to help robustly regulate their sector, focus on cocoa, coffee, and palm.
Set in place regulations for our various agriculture commodities, policies and frameworks that will help guide our agriculture sector, especially that it is now one of the priority areas of the president. And we have a lot of infrastructure development going on, provide capacity building for our farmers. But then what we are thinking about doing right now is to provide capacity building for our farmers and having a policy section with policymakers within Liberia around the issue of agriculture and how agriculture development can take place. You and I know that agriculture will not happen and will not be sustainable when it comes to food if we don't get engaged with mechanized farming, because subsistence farming is not sufficient, it cannot feed us. So we are looking into the future as to how we can expand our sector as it relates to mechanized farming. So some of those different things are being considered. So we have the conference being restructured right now so that we can look at it with a bigger picture.
The Director General of the Liberia Medicine and Health Products Regulatory Authority, David Smo, has denied media reports that the entity runs 3 separate payrolls for the institutions. Speaking to LNTV Monday, Mr. Smo maintained that the entity has only 1 payroll for the employees, urging the media to follow up before any publication of its stories.
So the publication is lazy because we have our payroll, which is an open document. People can see.
Just one?
Of course, we have one group of staff. We have one payroll that we sign every month to pay our staff. The component of the payroll talk about Liberian dollar salary. There is another component that talk about incentive. And the government of Liberia also gave what we call general allowance, which are performance based. So technically these are the descriptions given to the payroll for different staff at different categories that we use to pay salary every month.
So what's about the issue of the salary disparity that your deputy and one of your staff can make more money than you in terms of salary?
Well, I don't know who should be crying. Why is somebody crying more than bereaved? I think I'm victimized by the fact that I should be the one crying wolf because I'm underpaid. So if I agree, no, I mean, I'm playing the devil advocate to say that if I had agreed to take a lower salary than one of my staff, I should be crying wolf. So it just tells you that the person who formulated the story doesn't have the facts. I think they're relying on gossip, hearsay, to try to formulate something and put out there into the public there. But the content of this paper doesn't have any relationship to the real fact. It's good for people to come face to face and sit with us and discuss. We've been friendly with the media for years. This is not an entity where we hide information. We are open to the public. We can discuss the issue. As long as the issues are relevant to be discussed as it relates to the forward movement of the country, we can discuss it.
Indeed, if you just joined us, a reminder that you are watching LNTV News Live, televisions of all the news from Liberia and elsewhere. I'm your presenter, Maxwell Johnson, and stories tapping LNTV News Live this morning. Big boost for Liberia's musical industry as President George Manawia constructs modern recording studio to improve the quality of music production in Liberia. Liberia Agency for Community Empowerment list shows fire survivors of Popo Beach that it will complete the 50 housing units within 2 months. The Liberia Medicine and Health Products Regulatory Authority denies media reports that it is running 3 separate payrolls. And up the home front, police in Somalia have ordered the only ambulance service in the capital Mogadishu to stop going to bomb blast scenes for security reasons. We're taking a break. When we come back, we'll bring you more developments. Welcome back to LNTV News Live. We now take this story. Monrovia City Mayor Jefferson Koji has launched a new waste management pilot project codenamed the Door-to-Door Garbage Collection. The project launched over the weekend in Monrovia seeks to clear garbage from the homes of community dwellers in Monserrado County. Mayor Koji said the plan will run for 3 months to ensure that every home in the 17 electoral districts will ensure that garbage bins are posted at the homes of residents. The Monrovia City Mayor is, however, urging Monrovia residents to cooperate with the new measures to keep the city and its environs clean.
This time around, will ensure that the city government will use a 24 hours approach. So you go to Raleigh, you go to Jakarta, you go to Douala 24/7. The skate bucket must be collected, removed, and carried to the transfer station. Subscription. Every house, business in each of the 4 pilot districts will be required to subscribe. Don't say you're not making that. No. When you hear our city, you are being requested to subscribe. To what? You must subscribe. So don't say I'm not making that. No. To MCC identify account directly by household. Directly by household. Payment points will be set up in community for easy access. We want you to come with set a place in your community, a well-known place where you will go and conduct your payment. Enforcement and monitoring. MCC through the Monrovia City Code, the Monrovia City Police and non-police enforcers. We have 2 groups of people, the Monrovia Police and the non-enforcement officers. They will be commissioned by the Monrovia City government, and they will have the authority to execute their mandate.
Also speaking, Police Director Patrick Sudu pledged his support to the Monrovia City Corporation's initiative and promised to enforce all regulations by the Monrovia City Corporation.
The President is very concerned about the well-being of this city, and the President is concerned about a clean city. Liberians, tax is not a tax of the corporation. This tax in cleaning our city is incumbent upon all of us to join hands and work together to clean this city. Pira is the only country we have people from their homes, bringing them on the major streets and dumping on the street and walk away. With this project being put into place, it will help to reduce the garbage that we see all around us.
The chairman on mobilization and recruitment of the ruling Coalition for Democratic Change, Musa Kane, as Kone says, he welcomes government planned decision to place a moratorium on the importation of motorbikes in the country. He said while he recognizes the contribution of motorcyclists in the transport sector of the country, but was quick to add that such contribution should not be at the detriment of the peace process. He spoke Tuesday in an ELBC interview.
We're looking at the constraint that our brothers and sisters will face, either who are using motorcycle as a means of employment, but again, it should not be at the detriment of the peace that we all enjoy. I mean, motorcyclists, this is not the first time, this is not the second time, this is not the third time. Prior to this administration, we have had incident of violence, all from motorcyclists burning down police stations, vandalizing people's homes, setting ablaze vehicles. I think it's wrong. We can condemn that in the higher term. I mean, that should not happen in this modern age and time that we live in. And I think if government do that in our mind, it will be a very good step, in as much as the other Liberians will be out of job, but I mean, they will be very few, but the general well-being of the Liberian people is what matters. We want a peaceful country, a country where people will go to law. If you feel hurt, the place you go is to the law. It's not.
At the same time, the CDC Mobilization Recruitment Chairman has lauded his tender bearer gesture for timely rendering service to fire survivors, including bereaved family members. He said the President's initiative speaks to the fact that he is always ready to put smiles on the faces of his people.
The gesture itself is something that should be welcomed and appreciated by all well-meaning Liberians. For a very long time, we have not had a general president like this president to identify with the bereaved family, paying 10,000 United States dollars, showing the responsibility to send his children to school, from grade school to university of their choice. I think that's something that we can emphasize and just continue to talk about how good this president is. So we just want to say thank you, Mr. President. In less than 2 months, he roofed more than 100 homes in Gibraltar, and so extending that to victims of fire disaster in Popo Beach, Nuku Town, to be exact, in District 16. Again, tell you how good this president is.
In order to boost youth empowerment and bridge the unemployment gap in the country, the National Executive Director of the Liberia Opportunities Industrialization Center, LRC, Marie Kolenke, is appealing for increased budgetary allocation for the institution. Madam Kolenke said reduction in the LRC budget, coupled with high personnel costs and expensive training materials, are causing a downtrend in the operations of the institution. Speaking to ELBC, the LRC Executive Director explained that the institution has some of the highest paid trainers in the country, stressing the need for budget increment to fulfill its mandate.
I've been to Capitol Building, I've been to Ministry of Foreign Affairs, LIC runs sites we're in 4 locations, but now in 3 locations. Like in Monrovia we have like 400 students, Buchanan like 300, and then Banga like 200 to 250 students. And if you look at those number of students comparing to the number of instructors, because you know what we do is different from other projects. We are in human resource development, and it's like when you are in human resource development, you have a lot of money spent on personnel. So it's like the payroll is always high, and going for donor funding sometimes it can be really difficult, because if you go to donors, mostly they want to support the issue of the 30% personnel budget, program budget, 70% or 50 or whatsoever, but the budget will always have to be limited to like 30% for personnel, and that's not the case at LIC, because it's like if you look at the activities we do, treating human resources is a very difficult task. If you have 30 students in a class, you can have 1 instructor. But
meanwhile, Madam Kolenke said the LRC has been making use of available resources to ensure young Liberians are empowered.
I've been to Capitol Building, I've been to Ministry of Foreign Affairs, I have been to Ministry of Finance, trying to plead on behalf of LIC. I am appealing to government again. I am sure maybe they don't know what LIC is doing. We put not less than 800 students out of this institution every year. And out of those 800 students, always like 75% are vulnerable youth. We even go like 10 to 20% of street people in the street, youth living in difficult circumstances. Even people who feel, they bring them in, and our counseling department work with these people, and they are, and I mean, sometimes because I remember,
Sino County District 3 Representative Matthew Zaza is calling on Liberians to put aside their differences and unite for the common good of the country. Representative Zaza described negative criticism as a recipe for divisiveness among Liberians. The Sino County lawmaker spoke Tuesday with ELBC legislative reporter Nwokwe Yega at the Capitol. We're sorry that clip is not available, so we now go to our foreign development. Police in Somalia have ordered the only armed ambulance service in the capital Mogadishu to stop going to bomb blast scenes for security reasons. Abdikadet Abdiraham Adam, who has been running Amin ambulance for the past 12 years, said the decision will gravely impact the people who need urgent help. Dr. Adam, according to the BBC, is currently in the United Kingdom to raise funds for his 24-hour free ambulance service. Currently, the service is surviving on $12,000 United States dollars a month. Last year, it was reported that Amin ambulance was under threat of closure because it did not have enough vehicles. Well, on our foreign note, that's how we come to the end of this edition of LNTV News Live. Before we go, a recap of stories that made headline this morning. Big boost for Liberia's musical industry as President George Manuel Weah construct modern recording studio to improve quality music production. Liberia Agency for Community Empowerment list shows fire survivors of Popo Beach that it will complete the 50 housing units within 2 months. The Liberia Medicine and Health Products Regulatory Authority denies media reports that it is running 3 separate payrolls. And after home front, police in Somalia have ordered the only ambulance service in the capital Mogadishu to stop going to bomb blast scenes for security reasons. Thank you so much for your view. Join us for our updates at 12, 2 and 4. Better Steve can join us tonight for another edition of our bulletin this evening. On behalf of the entire team, I've been your presenter, Maxwell Johnson, bidding you a very good day from Pinsville.
Begin at tunesliberia.com.
National Toiletries Incorporated, Liberia-owned and reliable toiletries company, specialized in advanced quality toiletries assorted products such as Kuma tissue, Kuma baby pampers, Kuma napkins, Kuma paper towel, and Kuma Chlora. At National Toiletries Incorporated,